Hey, everybody. Welcome to the award-winning RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast. It's Thursday, March 28th. I'm Doc. That's Rick Kamla. Got a lot to talk about. Let's get right to it. This is a weird week schedule-wise. And Rashawn Holmes, the savior no more. Why is my music? Oh, that's the background. Let's try this one, Rick.
Yes. It is the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast with FSWA Hall of Famer Steve Alexander, a.k.a. Dr. A. I am Rick Kamla, a.k.a. the Fantasy Freak. And ladies and gentlemen, Doc, let's start the show with Rashawn Holmes. And we'll get to the waiver wire here in a second. I had several crucial decisions yesterday that involved Rashawn Holmes, okay? I started him in the Cam Dynasty, and I don't even want to tell you the people that I started him over, okay? And that did not go well at all for me. In another league, I had two pickups left, okay? And Nurkic with the injury, so I had to make a move there, right? Should have gone with Kelly Olynyk, but he had one fewer games the rest of the week than Rashawn Holmes. So I picked up Rashawn Holmes, okay? Rashawn Holmes drilled me in two leagues last night. And Doc, he was by far the most picked up dude in fantasy basketball yesterday. I saw on Yahoo, he was at like 10,000 ads, and the next closest guy was at like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5,000, whatever that number was. So Rashawn Holmes was doing it and like captivating the fantasy world, and then he dropped us off a cliff last night, Doc.
Well, he's been hurt for a while, and he somehow has been playing through it. It's a toe injury. We saw that slow down Brandon Ingram. We've seen it slow down players. I mean, if I had a broken toe or a really hurt toe, I don't think I would be able to run very far. The only thing I've got going for me is I'm up. So I've got Rashawn Holmes in my 30-team league, Rick. And it was funny yesterday, Besbris and I got together and did a podcast. We were comparing our teams and talking about the draft. And I went back and I was like, I don't even know where Rashawn Holmes came from to be on my 30-deep team. But I had him in there for the last 2 weeks. And Joe Kaiser at ESPN, former 30-deep winner who I rolled last week, was telling me, he's like, dude, you got to name a dog or a kid or something after Rashawn Holmes because he just rolled me this week. Well, I went back and looked at it. How many moves do you think you've made in 30 deep? I'm going to say like over 20, probably.
I mean, I'm always one of the most active guys, but I sucked on the waiver wire in 30 deep this year. I just
there is no waiver wire. There is none. You can't pick. There's nobody to pick up.
I mean, Delano Banton was scooped up. I mean, Rashawn, there were guys scooped up, and I was on them. And like, here's my thing with 30 deep, Doc. Like you need to stash guys and let them germinate. And I get a little bit too itchy, and I want somebody who's in a rotation, and you just need to kind of squat on some guys. And so that anyway, I screwed up I hated my season in 30 deep. I mean, hated it.
Listen to this. I made
I made the Final Four.
I made one move in 30 deep. It was November 23rd.
What? One move?
One move. I picked up.
Oh my God. Maybe that's the formula.
I picked up Rashawn Holmes, and I dropped Joe, the three-point shooter for the Nets.
Joe Harris.
Joe Harris. I dropped Joe Harris, picked up Rashawn Holmes on November 23rd. The only move I made, and I drafted Peyton Pritchard, and Peyton Pritchard is now the man, right? And I drafted Kobe White at like 129. I drafted Cam Thomas like 180 something. It was just a perfect storm. And even with Rashawn going down last time, I'm still up like 25 boards. And I've got Wemby. So my big men are Wemby and Rashawn Holmes. And my little guys are Kobe White, De'Aaron Fox, Peyton Pritchard, and Cam Thomas. And then I've got Austin Reeves and Zach Collins holding it down in the middle of that lineup. Like, that team's unbeatable if it's healthy. But we can move on. Let's carry on. Rashawn Holmes let everybody down. He let over 1 million fantasy basketball managers down yesterday, probably.
Wow. Those are big numbers right there. Doc, I hope you win 30 deep. I'm definitely pulling for you. I never thought for 1 second after the draft that my 30 deep team was going to win the chip this year. I missed out on Holmgren by 1 pick. I took Josh Green over Tim Hardaway Jr., and that was it. And I knew that this was not going to be a banner year. Again, a miracle I made the Final Four. Absolute miracle. All right, so I want to dive deeply into the waiver wire here. And this is for the head-to-head people out here, right? And you're either in a quarterfinal game or you're in a semifinal game. So we have 2 very weird nights here. Tonight we have 2 games. Saturday night we have 3 games, okay? So the key is tonight it's Boston at Atlanta, Milwaukee at New Orleans. Saturday, Boston at New Orleans, Milwaukee at Atlanta, okay? And then you have a Memphis-Orlando game that is kind of out on an island, and don't worry about that right now. Because we have 5 games over these 2 awkward nights because of the NCAA tournament. You have 4 teams playing on these 2 nights. So these are the guys you need to pick up for tonight, and then they will stay, and don't drop them. Keep them, and they will be on your team on Saturday as well. And, Doc, here are the premium guys. And they're not really premium, but you understand what I'm saying. Sam Hauser of Boston is the get right now. To me, there's no question about that. I would put Najee Marshall at number 2. I would put Vit Krejci of the Hawk. Pardon me. I would put Bruno Fernando at number 3. I would put Vit Krejci at number 4. He's starting, doesn't score a lot, but he gives you some goodies. And then you got so I would rank it Hauser and then Najee and then Fernando and then Krejci. Those to me are like the standout guys that you want. Okay, now let's downshift into a Jay Crowder, a Garrison Matthews, a Pat Connaughton, a Larry Nance. We got to look at Jose Alvarado because he got banged up in the last game, and I don't know if he'll play tonight. But if he does, and I presume he will because he's a tough guy, he's going to give you a steal. He's going to give you maybe 2 threes, maybe 7, 8 points, maybe 3, 4 assists. And you're like, God bless. Yes, this is the playoffs, dude. And if you accumulate this game after game after game through your week, it's not about the 7 points and the 4 assists and the 1 3 and the 1 steal tonight. It's when you add that on to what you did off the waiver wire on Tuesday and having Jose in your lineup on Saturday, it accumulates. And Doc, I really think it makes the difference between winning and losing because my games right now, the margins are so thin. These are the best of the best going for these fantasy chips. You need guys like I just said. So what are your thoughts on some of these guys, man?
Well, I'm sitting here like this reminds me of vintage 2003 or 2002 in the attic, the fantasy attic at 1 o'clock in the morning, watching Kamla on NBA TV, like digging through the deep names and giving like hardcore, like really useful fantasy information. Because you're right, dude. I got beat in my rock and roll league last week because I did not plan ahead well enough. I was playing the best of the best, and dude had me 9 games to 4 games on Sunday. I went into Sunday with a 7-2 lead, and I lost like 6-3 because the guys he had, not only did he have numbers, but they all went crazy. That was the day that freaking Chris Middleton got a triple-double. Zion Williamson went absolutely ballistic that day. Like, everything he touched turned to gold, and I had a bunch of stuff that I touched turned to you know what, and I lost. And had I planned ahead better for Sunday games, maybe I would have beat him. But yeah, I mean, I think that's great advice. You know, I'm just looking at my 30 team here. The only guy I've got going on Thursday and Saturday is Peyton Pritchard of Boston, but I'll take it because Drew Holiday's probably not going to play, and Peyton's going to have 2 good games. But it depends on how many guys Vespers has going. But yeah, I mean, I think it's incredible advice, and I like the list and the order of the guys you gave. But you might as well list those again real quick for the people that were sleeping through it the first time.
So, and again, guys, this is a 2-night engagement. This is not a 1-night stand, okay? This is going to be a 1-night stand that was so damn good that you want to go back and do it again. Call it a booty call if you want, okay? But it's a Thursday and Saturday night joint, all right? And the guys, it's 4 teams. It's Boston, it's Atlanta, it's Milwaukee, it's New Orleans. These 4 teams play on Thursday and Saturday. And again, here's the order. Sam Hauser is number 1. Number 2 is I'm going to say Bruno Fernando's number 2, Najee Marshall number 3, Vit Krejci number 4, and then you go kind of out in the weeds a little bit, and I prefer like a Connaughton or a Crowder, a Garrison Matthews from Atlanta. Maybe then I would go back to Larry Nance. Again, Jose would be a little higher on this list, but he's got the injury. That's Jose Alvarado. Luke Cornett lingers in here somewhere too. If he's on your waiver wire and you know he's going to get 10 minutes, 18 minutes. The minutes are weird, but he's a guy as well. So just overall, you guys rank him. Cornett, Hauser, Fernando, Garrison Matthews. I see Math, and I think Ben Matherin. Vit Krejci, Pat Connaughton, Jay Crowder, AJ Green in super, super deep leagues. Larry Nance Jr., Jose Alvarado, and Najee Marshall. And let me give you one more. Super, super deep, okay? And again, this is if you're in a 20-team league or a 30-team league or a 16-team league. His name is Dylan Windler. He's a three-point shooter who's been on like 15 teams. He's with the Hawks right now playing like 10 to 15 minutes a game. Again, I picked him up. I'm in some leagues that are literally that deep. And so that's another guy for you right there.
There's other guys out there too, like Malik Beasley may be sitting out there in a league. So Rick's talking deep stuff.
Deep.
But Malik Beasley's available in a lot of leagues. Like you would pick him up. Bobby Portis?
Peyton Pritchard might be around in a lot of leagues right now.
Peyton Pritchard could be sitting out there. So don't just automatically take that order. You got to look at who's available. But
the 4 teams, again, like just surf your waiver wire for these 4 teams: Boston, Atlanta, Milwaukee, New Orleans. Anybody else from any other team, you're not picking them up today. Okay.
And the nice thing about this is too, you don't need to really worry about Friday and Sunday because it's so stacked. Everybody's playing.
Thank you for the cherry on top, Doc. That's a great piece of advice. You're not worried about Friday and Sunday. Every league I'm in, I got dudes, and I got like 3 guys that aren't even in the starting lineup because I already kind of hit, in the Yahoo leagues. I love this feature. I love it where you push the
start
button
for the rest of the week.
For the rest of the week, you push the button for that night and it slots it. You can reorganize if you want, but then you do the rest of the week. You just go boom, 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 and it sets all your lineups for the rest of the week. It's dope. It's such a cool feature. And
then you also have to watch that because sometimes it'll put my guy Anthony Edwards on my bench for the rest of the week. It's like, what are you doing? Pajinski's in there. I think I'll play Anthony Edwards instead.
Exactly. I'm not saying you have to go by what they do, but here's why that feature is so cool. I'm in a couple of points leagues, and I hate points leagues, but I'm in them. What the hell? But I don't like points leagues, okay? I like head-to-head category leagues. But I'm in a couple of points leagues, right? So that feature is big for points leagues because then you push, lineups for the rest of the week, and you can see like what the projection is for you against the other guy or girl, and kind of like know if you're ahead or behind the game a little bit. All right, Doc. Let's get into where do I want to start here with you? It is the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast, by the way. Rick Kamla and FSWA Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. Let's start with this right here, Doc. And it's a humdrum game. It was Minnesota's comfy and very boring victory over Detroit. And frankly, I have 3 TVs on one wall. I did not watch a minute of this game because there were a million games last night. Here's the point, though, Doc. I was very worried about Cade Cunningham. He missed 2 games recently. He was the late scratch, missed the second of that back-to-back. And I'm like, is Detroit shutting down Cade Cunningham? What are we doing here? Duran was out at that time. All the stuff, and Jaden Ivey did not play last night. And so Cade came back last night. And this is a colossal piece of news for me and a lot of you. He had 32 last night against the best defense in the NBA. So I am totally geeked about that. And I do understand, Doc, that we're maybe going to have a rocky road here with some DNPs and stuff like that. But he's not shut down. Hallelujah. Jalen Duran last night. 11 and 11. He's not shut down. So Detroit played their hand last night, Doc. That was the pivot point for me. Are you doing the shutdown thing, the start 5 rookie Portland thing, or are you still going to play your healthy guys? Critical that Detroit played their hand last night, and we've got about 2.5 weeks left in the regular season. I don't think they're going to shut these guys down, Doc.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but LaMelo Ball was officially shut down for the season right before we came on the air today. I wrote in my notes for this show today that I asked a question. And my question being related to Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren, and the fact that what's-his-face is still playing. Desmond Bane is playing for Memphis right now. Jaren Jackson Jr. still playing for Memphis right now. And my question is, does this change the future of our podcasting, fantasy hoops, and NBA basketball? Because if these guys are not going to be shut down, these 4 guys we just mentioned, then who is going to be shut down? We have no way of knowing. So I think we need to be a little more careful about screaming from the rafters that Jaren Jackson Jr. sell high, get rid of him. It's panic time. He's going to get shut down. The players have a different mentality now, and it's all related to Adam Silver's rules, I think. And I don't think we can just say guys are automatically going to be shut down anymore.
We can't, but there still are. Portland's doing the shutdown thing right now. So the speculation about Jeremy Grant and DeAndre Ayton and Anthony Simons, that was all accurate, okay? And we're coming out of an era of the NBA where load management was obviously at a critical mass level, and the NBA did something about it. Like Doc said, they created a player participation policy, which means you got to play 65 games to qualify for awards. Ding, all of the star players are playing way more games this year. It's like absolute home run, grand slam home run by the league. Joe Dumars also said, and this was more of a memo to the teams than the players, we're an 82-game league, all right? You need to start thinking about it that way. And guess what? They have. Because Memphis is looking at it like an 82-game schedule. Bane is healthy, you play him. Jaren Jackson Jr. is healthy, you play him. Brandon Clark is back from his Achilles injury last night, made his return against the Lakers, 6-5 in 21 minutes. You play him, okay? So, and there are some teams who are not with that. Portland comes to mind here, but last year we had 7, 8, 9 shutdown teams, 7, 8, 9. Okay. This year we've got 1 or 2. I'm still not sure where we're going with this Utah thing, Doc. Okay. I'm smelling shutdown.
Lauri Markkanen keeps showing up for work.
I know.
It's weird.
Until he doesn't. How's Jordan Clarkson doing? When's the last time he played?
It's been a minute.
So I don't know what Utah is doing. They're not shutting down right now. They're not. They're not starting Walker Kessler, and that makes me want to literally have a very tough conversation with Will Hardy with a 6'5", 330-pound bouncer right next to me. Look, what are you doing? How does he not start Walker Kessler, dude? Does that make any damn sense to you on any planet? Free Walker Kessler. Get this guy on a team that appreciates him, man. My God, this is a
been
joke,
a long year for Walker Kessler managers. It has not been pleasant.
I can't even say, hey, in a dynasty league, go buy low with him. I don't really want him right now either. Will Hardy. You know, I don't want to say anything more than that.
Hey, Rick, I got a side note here.
That felt good. That felt good.
Dude, the Rick rants are on point today. So, Kieran Sprecher at RotoWire, he played high school basketball with Sam Hauser, first of all.
Nice.
And he and I have been doing our the Tuesday show together. And Marcus Sasser is the guy that was kind of getting hot when Cade Cunningham was out. And I called him Mackie Sasser. Do you know who Mackie Sasser is?
Of course. He was a catcher back in the day. Of course I know who he is.
Absolutely. Mackie the hacker.
Mackie Sasser with the Mets.
Mackie the hacker, they called him. So I'm calling this dude Mackie Sasser, and I thought that was appropriate since today is opening day in baseball. And that's probably what you and I are doing as soon as we're done here, is turning on some baseball games.
I may have to hold on a second. I got to see what I have not set my lineups today I've been working. What do we got here? When's the first
Are you setting baseball lineups right now?
No. I'm actually on ESPN.com looking. Wait, the first game today is not until 3:05? Okay.
I got noon.
What?
I thought there was a noon game, no?
I'm on it right now. Hold on. Let me look at is that the right day? Yeah, 3:05 is the first game, which is weird. Am I in the twilight zone? They've always started at noon for opening day here. I don't know.
That does not sound right to me.
Thursday, March 18th, and the first game is at 3:00, Doc.
It's March 28th.
What is going on here? No, I got it right. I got it right. The first game today is at 3:00 at Angels and Orioles. All right. Who cares? It's Rick Kamla. It is Steve Alexander. We are the RotoWire Fantasy Basketball Podcast. These were our problems, not theirs. All right. Where the hell were we? Oh, a huge sigh of relief with Rudy Gobert last night as well. 11 and 14 with 2 blocks. He's got the sternum thing, the rib thing that's been bugging him. So that was good to see. Hey, let's talk about Houston and Oklahoma City last night. A gosh bleeping barn burner, Doc. What a freaking game that was, man. The shot making. Jalen Green soared again. You want to talk about league winner? Jalen Green is league winner right now.
Baller,
my God.
Dude.
37, 10, and 7. 37, 10, and 7. He had a Luka line last night with 7 3-balls. And he was super clutch in overtime. So no SGA last night, right? Guys, don't worry. He's got a thigh thing. It's not like a patella or anything like that. It's a thigh bruise. He needed a night off. It was the second of a back-to-back. J-Dub did more, 23, 5, and 10. But this was the Josh Giddey story. Like, Josh Giddey showed us that he's still a good player, man. He made a shot from his ass last night. He made a behind-the-back move, fell down, scrambled to get the ball, and so he wouldn't travel, just threw it up from like 8 feet out, sitting in the lane, and it went in. He had 31, 7, and 4, 1 block, 1 steal. And Doc, you remember the conversations we had about Giddey at the beginning of the year? It was like, oh my God, are we cutting him and sending him to waivers? What are we doing here? So I found that to be a very interesting game last night. Isaiah Joe popped off the bench with SGA out last night. Talk to me about that one and what you saw from a fantasy perspective.
Well, Josh Giddey getting 20 shots up is what it's all about, because he's not a very good shooter, and he's not really that great of a scorer normally. Jalen took 3 more shots, but that's what's going to happen when SGA is out of the way and out of the lineup. Like, Giddey's going to have to play point guard and scoring point guard, and man, he was awesome. And your Jalen Green take, like Jalen Green. Well, we were down on him at the beginning of the year too, because he wasn't doing that much, but he has taken off over the last 2 months, and he is winning people fantasy basketball leagues. I love to see it. I love the fact that Houston's trying to track down the Golden State Warriors and knock them out of the playoffs, correct? And did they do it? Are they there? Are they tied? I haven't looked at standings today.
Last I checked, Doc, they were a game back. And Golden State, yeah, it's 1 game separating them. So here's the lay of the land with that. Golden State
also, Rick, you should be mad at Chet Holmgren more than you should be mad at Richaun Holmes. Richaun Holmes got hurt. Chet Holmgren fouled out in 18 minutes and scored 2 points in the midst of fantasy playoffs when people need him most. That is a choke job. That is not an injury, and that is Chet letting his people down.
I agree with all of that, but guess what? He was probably really good in the previous games, and he's going to be really good over the weekend. And Richaun Holmes gave us 3 rebounds. 3. That's all he gave us. Not 1 block. He didn't even hit a field goal. He gave us 3 rebounds last night in 12 minutes of ineffective play. He played 12 minutes. He played the whole first half. Just saying.
What were you going to break down?
You're dead to me, Richaun Holmes. You're dead to me.
Oh. Break down the Houston. Let's break down the Houston and Golden State race, because it's awesome.
Yeah, just quickly, it is awesome. The Houston Rockets have won 10 games in a row. 10. This might be the longest winning streak of the entire year by any team. Okay, there haven't really been a lot of, oh my God, winning streaks this year. There haven't. They're 1 game behind Golden State. Okay, and here's what's fun. Golden State won the head-to-head tiebreaker. 2-0 is the series lead. They play 1 more time next Thursday in Houston. So Houston can't win the tiebreaker, but obviously they still have 1 more game to mess around with. I like the way the Rockets are playing more than the way the Warriors are playing right now. It's in Houston where they are. Doc, are you sitting down? 26-11. They're a fantastic home team. Houston's problem, Doc, because they're so young and stuff, they suck on the road. They're 11-24 on the road, but they won last night at Oklahoma City. Yes, they took advantage of SGA being out, but I give them full credit. But that's what I'm geeked about in basketball right now is Golden State and Houston, dude, because The top of the West, Doc, I don't damn know. The top three, Denver, OKC, and Minnesota, you spin a bottle, one of them will be 1 and 2 and 3. And then you got that whole Clippers, Pelicans, Mavericks, Suns, Kings cluster. That's fun, right? But they're all going to be in there somewhere. No, one of these teams is going home, the Warriors or the Rockets. What if the Warriors did not make the play-in tournament, Doc? What if?
Well, and they talk about karma a lot in this world that we live in. And Draymond Green is out there doing more Draymond Green crap every night. It's creeping back in. He took somebody down by the neck yesterday. He's punching people the week before, and just
what are you talking about? What are these incidents?
The Warriors.
What are you talking about? He punched somebody. What are you talking about?
Well, remember he went after Gobert the other day, and he started a whole brawl, and not really a brawl, but the coaches are falling down. You know what I'm talking about. It's just more.
What game was that?
Draymond Green crap.
Was that a Memphis game? Was that when Taylor Jenkins fell down? That was that whole thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, get him out there. And that's when you grab Santi Aldama's collar at the other end and pulled around.
Oh, that's right.
And then Santi came down. Santi was pushing him, but anyway, Draymond Green is doing more crap, and I think he pulled somebody down, and everybody wants Houston to catch them. I think, and how fun would it be? It would make Houston's year if they knocked the Warriors out of playoffs, and that's why they won 10 in a row. Like they are like, let's finish this. We don't have Alpi Sengun. We don't need him. Let's go get him.
Well, Jalen Green is saying, I'm still the guy on this team. Y'all think that Alpi Sengun is the guy on that team. This explosion for Jalen has not been a coincidence. It has literally happened since Alpi left the lineup, but it's cool to see. I want to shout out a couple of guys from the Lakers and Memphis game last night, Doc. We mentioned Brandon Clark. Not that you should be hot on picking him up, but the return of Brandon Clark is a good sign because Memphis isn't shutting their guys down. Also, he's going to eat into Santi Aldama and Gigi Jackson a little bit. So just be aware of that. Brandon Clark's playing time is going to rise. He's going to Pac-Man those guys a little bit. And if Vince Williams can get back in the lineup, then it's going to be very different.
I think Gigi's still going to get tons of minutes, though, because they have no reason not to play that guy 35 a night.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I don't think he's going to be playing 35 a night with Brandon Clark back. I think it's going to be more in the 20s. I'm not saying drop him. I'm just saying be aware that there may be a little bit of a haircut. So me and Doc look at that one a little bit differently. Jake LaRavia, all right, he's a guy that with Brandon Clark coming back, and then so last night with Clark's return, LaRavia's like, oh my God, my minutes are in jeopardy here. And he popped, best game of his life, 25 points, 7 3 balls, made 7 of 9. And I loved LaRavia's performance because the Lakers were on the verge of a blowout. LaRavia started popping threes, and it brought all of the Lakers starters back into the game for the fourth quarter. So Jake LaRavia, thank you, because LeBron did a whole bunch of stuff in the fourth quarter after he came back out, ended up with a triple-double in the game. LaRavia on waivers, like maybe, but the return of Brandon Clark to me is going to be in his way. And then, Doc, a shout-out to Rui Hachimura. I got some stats for you on Rui Hach, as I like to call him. He went 32 and 10 last night with 7 bombs, okay? And that was against me. It was so frustrating watching him. I'm just like, Rui, you are killing me. Not softly. You are killing me harshly right now. Over the last month, Doc, 17 points a game, 5 rebounds, 1.7 threes. He's not good with the blocks and the steals. We get it at this point. Let's go to reality for a minute. Check out the Lakers with Rui Hachimura this year, Doc. As it turns out, he is the whole key to their puzzle. All right. He has started 30 games this year. They're 20 and 10. They're playing 667 ball with Rui Hach in their starting 5. That would be 4th in the West, Doc, over the whole season. 4th in the West.
It's really simple math. If AD or LeBron are not playing, you want Rui Hachimura in your lineup. That's it. Simple math.
He's right about that. So they put him in the starting lineup 23 games ago. They're 16 and 7 in those 23 games. I'm just saying, man, you want to shovel dirt on the Lakers. And I'm not a Laker fan, but you want to shovel dirt on the Lakers. They're done. They're kaput. They're washed. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs. I am telling you to eat those words right now before you say something dumb, because they're one of the best clutch teams in the NBA. And they've got Reeves and Russell and Rui and Davis and Braun. And now you got Dinwiddie off the bench. They got firepower, man. And they've got experience. And they've got, obviously, LeBron and Davis. Probably the most accomplished duo in the NBA. Not the best duo, although they're close. I'm just saying, don't rule out the Lakers here. All right, Doc, hit me with a couple of your vibes from last night, man. Take me into some of your stuff.
I'm gonna throw some Austin Reeves while we're dealing with the Lakers right now. The last time he scored in single digits was a 9-point game on February 5th. His last 3 games, 11 assists, 10 assists, 8 assists. Kid is balling. Like, people were down on Austin Reeves. Like, where's the Austin Reeves that I drafted? He's right here. He's been here since early February. Baller. He's been awesome. Where is my list of stuff that I had to talk about? Let's see if we can find it. Delano Banton. How much do I love this kid? The silly season.
How do you count the ways? Do you have Banton in 30? Do you have Banton in 30 deep, by the way?
I do not. I only made one.
I had him and then I dropped him, Doc. I had him and I dropped him.
No. Are you serious?
Yeah, I dropped him when he sucked. Like, he played, and then Chauncey Billups, like, yeah, nah, and he yo-yoed him back deep in the rotation. And like I said, I needed to squat on guys, and I didn't. This guy's in the rotation now, and I would go to the lily pad hopping, which is a very good formula in a lot of leagues, but I found that not to be a good formula in 30 deep this year.
Well, Delano Banton had 31 points last night. He's been money for 2 months. I'm calling him the fantasy silly season hero. Like, he might be the silly season MVP, because he's been balling he's been doing it for almost 2 months. He's had some ups and downs in there, but he's been incredible. My guy, Cam Thomas, last night, 38 points, nice stat line. He's back. He's playing. I need him to play for my 30-team league. And Rick, is Jordan Poole going to go out with a bang or a whimper? He had 38 last night. Is Jordan Poole going to finally start playing like we thought he was going to on opening night?
Let me go into Jordan Poole. I do not roster him in any of my leagues, and pretty obviously so. Let me look at Jordan Poole right here. Yeah, he has, but God, come on, basketball ref, work with me here. Let's see here. I don't know, Doc. I'm still seeing a mixed bag here. He popped last night against Brooklyn. Brooklyn sucks. He had 23 the game before at Chicago. That was a win, by the way. That one caught my eye. I watched that game. He had a double-double the game before with 18 and 12. But then the 2 games before that were Jordan Poole games. He had 14 with not a lot, and he had 13 with not a lot. I think he's on a mini heater here, Doc, to be honest with you. And he did not shoot plus 50% in the previous 2 games where the raw stats were good. So he had a pop game against a bad team, and it went to overtime. He played 45 minutes, which was a major uptick in time for him. I think the next game he might have 7 points on 2 of 20. So I'm not feeling a late season surge here, Doc. Although I will say this. Like, if he's going to have a surge, it would be now, because now the pressure is off, Doc. You know what I'm saying? It's silly season. Nobody's watching. You can just go out there and ball a little bit. But me and Antonio Daniels on NBA radio yesterday talked about players who have turned us off this season. And I got 3 for you, Doc. First of all, Joel Embiid for not playing against Jokic in Denver for 5 straight years. I am out on Joel Embiid. I am no longer a nurturer, an apologist, a supporter. I'm out. You do you, Joel. I'm going to stand over here now. LaMelo Ball, who you mentioned the shutdown. I mean, I'm out. Like, the guy is a myth, okay? Him and his bro Lonzo are myths. The Ball family is a myth, okay? When are you ever going to play, dude? And then Jordan Poole, Doc. I said infamously and incredulously on NBA radio last year, to the chagrin and the heavy criticism and pushback from Antonio Daniels, that Jordan Poole in the right scenario, bad team, first or second option, green light, will average 25 points a game. That did not go well for me, Dr. A. That did not go well for me at all. Because guess what? He got traded to the exact spot that I said he needed to go to. Bad team, first or second option, 25 a game. And what is Jordan Poole averaging this year, Doc, in that exact scenario?
I'm going to say 17, 16.
Yeah, 17 points, Doc. 17. 8
dude,
off of my projection. 8. And he's lost his starting job.
I also made a horrible Jordan Poole prediction at the start of the season when my buddy Noah Rubin and I got together for a podcast, and we had a little we got to pick who we thought was going to lead the league in blocks, and I took Wemby, and then we got to pick who's going to lead the league in assists, and I took Luka, and he took Ty Halliburton, and then it was like who's going to lead the league in scoring. He took Luka, I took Jordan Poole, and I feel stupid.
Wow, guys, you're welcome for these admissions. Okay. Our credibility, I believe, Doc, at this point is so established that we can admit these errors right here. We don't get all of these right. We get, I think, most of them right. But wow. So you and I mean, so I'm done.
We both got bamboozled by Jordan Poole.
We did,
and we're both out on Jordan Poole for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, you out. I'm good. I don't know, Doc. I'm good. I'm not going back. Okay.
I mean, so Rick, your whole
this was a fantasy nirvana for Jordan Poole. Literally, you cannot draw up a better scenario for a guy, and he has pooped it down his leg.
So I had to put together a list of my top 12 players for next year from my buddy Adam King, and I sent it off late last night. I didn't really study it. I didn't put a ton of time into it, but here are my top 12. Here's my first round for next year. And I didn't know I was going to do this, but you talking about Joel Embiid and being out on him got me thinking, like, would I take Joel Embiid in the first round in any draft next year? I'm out. I think I'm out. Here's my list. Victor Wembanyama, number 1. Nikola Jokic, 2. SGA, 3. Luka, 4. Domantas Sabonis, 5. Maybe high. Ty Halliburton, 6. Giannis, 7. Steph, 8. AD, 9. Jaren Jackson Jr., 10. Ant Edwards, 11. And Alpi Şengün, 12. And that's just thrown together off the top of my head last night at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm probably missing a guy or two.
I mean, I'd have to look at. Domas feels high. I'll just say that right now. I'm a Domas guy, but I'm not a huge Domas guy because, Doc, why? Why am I not a huge?
Because there's no gold there, son.
No threes, no blocks, no steals.
No
ding, ding, ding.
Gold. No fantasy gold.
No fantasy gold, but I love them. But
the double doubles and the triple doubles. Woo.
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. He is having the most historic non-all-star season ever. He's got the all-time record for consecutive double doubles. I shouldn't say all-time. It's not all-time. Since the merger, he's got the record for consecutive double doubles. By the way, I think it's 55. Wilt Chamberlain is in heaven laughing at all of us. And Domas laughing. He had 227 consecutive double doubles.
I forgot Kawhi Leonard, by the way.
That is a record that will not be broken.
No, and it isn't even a record though. Why is there all this? In the stat era of the NBA, but for that one, for some reason, is there. But is it recorded somewhere? Is it on a piece of paper that he's holding in a photo somewhere? I don't know.
I don't know where to go with that. Other
you
than
don't need to mess with it. I feel like Kawhi Leonard.
Doc, I just off the top, Kevin Durant stands out to me as a guy that I would have in the top 12.
Okay. What about Jason Tatum?
And I don't know where Tatum would be in there somewhere. Yes. JJJ feels high in the first round to me. But the rest of the guys, like I may, tweak the order a little bit, but no, the two guys that stand out, like I don't know. I may be able to find somebody else at the end of the first round that I like more than Şengün, but I'm not that mad at that because he really, the box score loves him. But look, in the pre-draft process, I comped Şengün to Domantas Sabonis, okay? I got vibes of Domas watching Alpi play in a weird-looking uniform in Europe before he was drafted, okay? And guess what? He's literally Domas, maybe Domas light, but he doesn't hit threes, he doesn't block shots, and he doesn't get steals. So that would be a hang up for me. I would doubt that right now if I did my top 12, Doc, that I would have Domas, JJJ, or Şengün in my first round. I'm thinking like maybe a Durant, a Tatum, a Booker might be going in there.
Are you coming around on Kawhi Leonard after how he has stuck it out this year? And he's
second round, not first round. Okay. And I think I might still go Embiid in the first round, Doc. I mean, the numbers are so gargantuan, man. And he gives threes, and he blocks, and he does some steals, and the assist right in the Nick Nurse system. We haven't seen Joel Embiid assist like he did this year. He was at 5 a game. He was going 36, 12, and 5, bro. 36, 12, and 5. You know how many times that stat line's been done? I think it's like him and Wilt. All time in history of the league. Joel Embiid had more points than minutes played this year, bro. And I get the injury risk. I think Embiid, I still look at him as a first-round pick, man. I do. Not like, I'm not taking him over Luka or SGA or I would not take him over Giannis either, Doc. I wouldn't. And I know that Giannis isn't great in the 3-ball category, but I trust Giannis. Giannis is not missing gaps of seasons. You know what I'm saying? I would take Anthony Davis over him. I would take Anthony Davis over Embiid. I like this new Anthony Davis, Doc. And I sniffed it out, right? Beginning of the year. This is one I got right. I told y'all, you guys, Davis is going to be nails this year. He is going to try to shut everybody up and play games and blah, blah, blah. And that has happened. How about his stat line, dude? 25, 12, 3, 2.5, like 1.5. The 3-ball has evaporated. The percentages are good. I don't think Davis is going to revert back to half man, half a season mode. I really think that he's like, he won the championship and he checked out, bro. That's my vibe on Anthony Davis, right? All the missed games, and he wasn't in great shape, and he's dragging dead legs through seasons. And now I think he's like, all right, screw this. Like, I'm 30 now. I got to go. I got to add more chips here. So I see a different Davis, and I think this is going to be the new Davis here.
Do you want to answer some questions from the
Let's
people?
Do it, man. Let's go to the streets.
Matt Carmody says, I heard you saw your interview with Dan. I was on with Dan Besbris yesterday. And it's easy to find on Twitter. And Dan and I are the ones playing in the finals. So he just wanted to know how our matchup's going. I am up 5-4 in the middle of week 1 of a 3-week duel to the death. So hanging in there. We're up 5-4. Hopefully, if everybody keeps playing, that's where it'll end up. Aditha says, I'm in my semis. Very tough games against number 1 seed. Dropping Grayson Allen after his Friday game to stream more games. Does that make sense? Without seeing the schedule, without having studied Grayson Allen, I would assume you know what you're doing. Grayson Allen is right there for fantasy surprise star of the entire year. He was probably the lowest drafted guy that had the best season in fantasy, in my mind, this year. So be careful if you're dropping Grayson Allen, but if you've studied the schedule and that's what you need to do, you got to do it. Mute.
Pardon me. If you're going to make this move, go get Sam Hauser of Boston. Sam Hauser has 2 games left, and Sam Hauser has games. We talked about this at the top of the pod. This cluster of players for the 4 teams that are playing tonight and Saturday: Boston, Atlanta, Milwaukee, New Orleans. Those should be the targeted teams on the waiver wire right now, because filling your lineup on Friday and Sunday is going to be a piece of cake. Grayson Allen obviously had the mega game, the 32 with the 9 threes. Since 13 points and 3 threes, 8 points, no threes, 6 points, no threes. Last night, 13 points and 3 threes. So when Beal is healthy, and Beal played through his finger injury last night, hold on, I got to stand up and take a bow. or give him a standing ovation, Doc. Woo! Way to go, Bradley Beal. Way to go. He had the audacity. He had the audacity last night to say on national TV at the halftime walk-off interview that he's a soldier. He had the audacity, the nerve, the balls to say that he's a soldier. I almost flew to Denver to have a tough talk with Brad Beal. No. Dude, you are one of the softest, most pillowy soft, Charmin soft players I've ever seen. This guy, the DNPs. I mean, it rains DNPs with this guy. Oh, you played through a finger injury. The x-rays were negative. There's no structural damage. And so we're supposed to be out here applauding you? My God. Oh, my God. So anyway, when Bradley Beal plays, Grayson Allen doesn't eat a whole lot, okay? So the pickup for my man out here is Sam Hauser. And then, Doc, when Grayson has this game tomorrow and Sam Hauser plays Thursday and Saturday, go pick up Sam Merrill. Go pick up another guy that gives you 10 to 15 points and 2 to 3 to 4 threes, right? Those guys will be on waivers for you. So I like the way Aditya's thinking.
Our friend of the show, Ken Kreitz, the K-Train. How awesome is Delano Banton been? Silly season MVP. I did not see that before I said that. He posted it before I said it. Perfect. Here's a serious question.
He picked him up in Cam Dynasty, too. I'm pissed at K-Train about that.
Oh, the K-Train and you are always throwing down in Cam Dynasty.
Indeed, we're in the Final Four right now. We're both in absolute meat grinders, man. Who knows?
That's awesome. And he'll be
I'm not playing him. I'm not playing against him. We may meet in the championship game next week. But anyway, Doc, go ahead.
Christian Rogers says, is Karis LeVert a drop now that Max Strus is back? Karis LeVert has been rough over the last 3 games, Rick.
He has. And Strus was on a minutes restriction last night. He played well. He had 19 points. And how many bombs did my boy hit? 5 bombs in 24 minutes. That's going to go up. Mitchell's coming back tomorrow, Doc, is what they're reporting. He's expected to come back tomorrow. And so you're going to have Garland, Mobley, Mitchell, Allen, Strus. That's your starting 5. And LeVert will be back to his 24 to 28 minute good game one night, bad game the next. I mean, it depends on who you're dropping LeVert for. But let me see if LeVert has 2 more games. But here's the thing. LeVert, Doc, may be a drop for one of these players that we're talking about on the Thursday and Saturday, because let me look here. LeVert plays tomorrow and Sunday, so he does have 2 more games. But again, you're not going to have a hard time filling your lineup on Friday and Sunday. So maybe the optionality here is to drop LeVert and go fill a hole on the Thursday and Saturday tough swing here.
Aditya, by the way, already has Sam Hauser. So that was the initial.
So then who would be that next 3-ball guy off waivers right now?
Did you say Najee or you said
you tell
center,
me. You
the
tell
center from the Hawks.
You tell me. Okay, so who you picking up? I'm going to give you the 3-ballers here that are out here, not named Sam Hauser, for the Thursday, Saturday deal. Garrison Matthews, Vic Krejci, Pat Connaughton, Jay Crowder, AJ Green, Jose Alvarado, Najee Marshall.
I like Alvarado with no Brandon Ingram. If Alvarado's healthy and he's going to play, I like Alvarado.
Okay, let's say he doesn't play. Who's next? Because he might not play tonight.
I know. I'm intrigued by Krejci and the Hawks, but I don't trust him enough to put that kind of stock in him when I need somebody to come through. Might be Garrison.
Garrison popped last night, had 21 points and 5 threes. But here's the problem with that, Doc. What's that?
It's tricky, man.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with that, Doc. Is Garrison Matthews doing that again tonight?
I don't know.
No, the answer is no. Garrison, the answer is definitively no. He is not going 21 points with 5 bombs again tonight. That ain't happening. Oh, by the way, it's Boston's defense he's going up against, okay? You have that. Oh, by the way, Boston just gave up a 30-point lead at Atlanta, okay? You think they might be a little motivated tonight, a little fired up, Doc, to get back at your Hawks? So I'm going to say Najee Marshall would be next. He's playing about half the game right now with Ingram out. They need his defense on the floor. And here's the thing. I love Najee Marshall if Jose Alvarado doesn't play tonight, because that's going to mean even more playing time for Najee. But I still like Najee if Jose plays. But Doc, I like Najee more than Jose.
I feel like
if
Najee is the most trustworthy guy on that list.
he had 2 pretty nice games. And then the last game he had, I think it was 7 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 3. It was like, not a great game. But the previous 2 were really good. And he had, who were they playing there? They were playing SGA the other night, Doc. And they had, so you know how that goes sometimes where it's all focused on defense. And Najee was on SGA a lot. And so I think it's going to open up for Najee. I would rather have Najee than Jose. If Jose even plays tonight, I would still rather have Najee.
Yeah. I think Najee's the most consistent. I think he's the safest, but he also probably has the least chance of like blowing up, having that home run game. But I don't know that you're looking for a home run game here. You're looking for safe and somebody to get you a little bit of stuff.
Right. Matt, like not what Rashawn Holmes did to us last night was 0-3, 0-0-0-0-0-0-0-0. Okay. Like all we need is 10 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 threes. That's all we're looking for here.
I feel like we've had 3 awesome Rick rants in this podcast today, and we're going to finish this off with we're going to finish it off with a little toy soldier comment from Matt Carmody.
So, Matt Carmody, you're cracking me up, dude. That's good. That's good.
So you can be like, I'm going to fly to Denver and tell him that he is a toy soldier or wherever it was. Oh, yeah. So the Spurs beat the Suns without Wemby, and then the Suns turn around and beat Denver. Denver just doesn't care right now, right? They're just like out there in the pool, treading water, waiting for the playoffs.
Not at all. Not at all, Doc. They have the best record since the
All-Star Boston. Break. That's Boston.
I don't know. Boston won 9 in a row before that game the other night.
I know. They're benching 2 guys every night.
Who's a team that's bored? Who's a team that's kind of bored out there at the top? I don't know. I don't think any of them are bored, Doc. I think they're all going for seeding and that kind of thing. Check it out. Denver, their only losses since the All-Star break. It was an overtime game. It was the Kyrie Irving left-handed hook shot at the buzzer. And it was last night at home without Jamal Murray. And Jamal Murray literally, Doc, was the reason they lost that game. They just needed that one more score, and they didn't have it. And you had, obviously, Booker and Durant doing big things. So Denver's locked in, dude. I'm not detecting any kind of slippage from them.
All right. K-Train, Ken Kreitz, and I will be here on Tuesday to do this all over again. Rick and I will be back next Thursday. We should have a much better feeling for where all of us stand in all of our playoff stuff. We'll know a hell of a lot more about where our brackets are, how they're looking. We're going to have Rick will hopefully set his baseball lineup before the middle of our show next week. So he's not like trying to figure out what time baseball season starts today in the middle of a basketball podcast. Because I know some of you guys hate baseball and only care about basketball. I'm here to get hoops news. I need fantasy information right now. Shut up about your baseball team. But we're coming back, and man, this is a fun show, Rick. I love doing this show.
Yeah, me too, man. I love you, Doc, and all you guys out here. Really appreciate you joining us and hitting us with the comments, man. And I don't know, these rants pop up, Doc. People piss me off when I do a rant. If nobody pisses me off, there won't be a rant. Okay, so we'll see. I don't know. It's very unpredictable.
Dude, that was 3 solid rants, and we out.